Today I want to talk to you about reading out loud to your kids. Even when your kids can already read by themselves and read proficiently and understand the books that they're reading, even if they're reading chapter books, it's still a great idea to read out loud to them because there are so many benefits. For one, when we're reading out loud to them, we can read harder books than they could ever read on their own because they can absorb and listen to a story that's harder than their level more easily than they could read it on their own. You're doing the heavy lifting of sounding out all the words. So they have the benefit of just processing the pictures in their mind and making sense of the story, right? Let's think of it like learning a new language. If I were learning Spanish, which I feel like I'm still learning Spanish, I can hear conversations or I could hear a book read out loud to me that was in Spanish and I could process a lot of it. But if you ask me to sound out all those words, which I'm not fluent in. I do know how to say the sounds, but I'm not fluent in Spanish. It would take me a lot longer to sound out all those words in the story, and it would really stop me from understanding what I was reading. But if somebody's reading that book out loud to me, I could probably follow along a little better. It's the same thing for our kids. They can listen to a story, they can hear a book read out loud to them, and they can process that more fluidly than if they were to do the heavy lifting of sounding out the words themselves and also understanding the text. So that's one major benefit. Another benefit is that when you're reading books, could be picture books, could be chapter books. I'm not just saying just read harder books than what they're able to do. Read a whole variety of books. But when you're doing that, you're exposing them to a lot more vocabulary, a lot more new words that they're not going to experience in their everyday life. Also, you're showing them, exposing them to more complex text structures. If you're reading something beyond what they can read on their own, you are opening up a new door, a new opportunity for the future so that they can understand that text structure and then be able to read that on their own. So you are modeling that for them. And also by you reading out loud to them, you're modeling fluent reading. You're making your voice go up with a question mark or pause with a comma or stop at a period. You're doing all those things and you're modeling what it sounds like that they should be hearing themselves read when they're reading their head or reading out loud. You're modeling what that should sound like. So you're increasing the vocabulary. You're doing the heavy lifting of sounding out words that they don't have to sound out so they can just focus on understanding the text. You're exposing them possibly to more complex text structures if you're reading something beyond what they can read on their own. And you're modeling fluent reading, which is going to help them in their reading life. So don't stop reading to your kids. You can read picture books, read chapter books, read something that's on their level, below their level, beyond their level. It doesn't have to be all hard things, but the more that you're reading out loud, the more that they're gaining the benefits of all those things. Okay? All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.